Hi there guys, Coach Miranda here, and feeling a little inspired this morning as I was doing my morning mobility routine with a little bit of free movement, and I liked it a lot. So I figured I'd share it with you guys. It has to do with a little bit of spinal segmentation, so moving the spine in different areas, a little bit of glute work, and then some adductor work. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start in a tabletop position. Now from here, I want you to think about keeping the upper back and mid back nice and still. And we're just going to move the pelvis and the lower back. Again, this is known as spinal segmentation. It's moving your spine in different parts. It's a big long column and it should be able to move independently. But because, well, A, that we're standing creatures, and B, we're a little bit more sedentary, people find it really hard to move different parts of the spine. So right now I'm just dropping my pelvis, rotating it forward, tucking it under as I'm pressing away from my mat with my upper body. Now from here, I'm going to neutralize my pelvis, turn my toes under, and I'm going to work on some serratus push-ups. So I'm going to keep my arms straight. I'm going to sink my shoulders down as far as I'll go, pause, and then I'm going to push away, slightly tuck my chin, pull my shoulder blades apart. Again, I'm keeping the core strong, squeezing my glutes, and making sure not to move that lower part of my pelvis here. Pressing away. Again, think about keeping the elbows almost straight. And we're going to put the parts together. I'm going to reset with a neutral spine. I'm going to tuck my tailbone under, start to move up my spine through my mid back to my chin, pause. I'm going to keep the upper back rounded, and I'm going to start to tilt my pelvis forward and drop down into that serratus push. Keep the serratus push. So it should be slightly wave-like. Now this is brand new to you. Again, it's going to feel really awkward, but think about trying to focus on moving one part of the spine at a time. Good. We're going to take a couple more. So it's similar to a cat-cow, but again, moving up and down that vertebral column. I'm going to reset my spine here. I'm going to move into a bird dog. I'm going to place one leg back, turn my toes in, take my arm out, and I'm going to extend my arm out as I reach my foot back, slightly pressing away from the floor. I'm going to pull in and extend straight back out. Good. Pulling in. Extend right back out. Core is strong. One more. Extend it out. I'm going to keep my leg out, put my arm down. I'm going to work into some hip airplanes. My shoulders are going to stay square to the ground. I'm going to open my hip up, and I'm going to overly close it. Open that hip up. I'm squeezing nice and strong throughout my planted leg of my right foot, keeping that glute strong, nice and stable so I don't sink into my right hip. Awesome. Let's take one more hip airplane. And we're going to keep the hip open, swing the right foot around, move into a side plank. From here, I'm going to tap the inner part of my left heel and then raise up as high as I can here for a little bit of side plank hip abductions, keeping my hip lifted, my arm is reaching straight up, my hip points and bottom ribs are pulling in so I'm not in a sway back. A couple more. This next one, I'm going to keep my foot down. I'm going to reach overhead, nice C shape, pressing that hip up, and then coming back up, taking a few here just because it feels really nice. Good. One more. Now from here, I'm going to get light into my bottom hand. I'm going to come up, shift my weight forward, toes going to face forward. As I sit back for my hip adductor roll back, so inner thigh, I'm going to turn my toe up towards the sky here. Good. Taking a few, looking back at that toe. Sitting back towards the hip. Now you can take this as fast or as slow as you like. I'm going about a medium pace here. As I come forward, pressing away from the floor, take my right hand away, and I'm going to hit a few T-spine rotations. This feels really good. Again, pressing away from that floor. I'm going to take one more. And then, no fancy way to do it, I'm going to switch sides. I'm going to face this way for you. So starting with that bird dog, pressing away from the ground, glutes are strong, core is stable. Act as if you're bracing for a punch from beneath. Left leg's going to extend out, right arm's going to extend out. I'm going to pull my core up and get a slight rounding as I pull in and then extend. You see the shakiness of my arm right now? Taking about 3 or 4. Good. Keeping that leg extended, pressing away from the floor. I'm going to move into those hip airplanes, opening up the hip, closing the hip. You can see a little bit better on this side. My shoulder blades pressing away. Good. Open, close. This next one we're going to keep it open, shift the toe around, take it into that side plank and bottom ribs and hip points together. I'm going to tap, lift. So getting a little bit into that hip abduction of the glute med. Nice and light as I return down to my mat. Up and down. Let's take 2 more. You can probably take up to like 15 here. I'm going to keep my toe down, reach up, pulling that hip up, and reaching over. Nice little stretch and some mobility into that shoulder. Good. Let's take 1 more. And from here, lighten the bottom hand, use that core, bring it up, hands come forward, adductor rollbacks, toe turns up, forward. This is one of my favorite moves, especially in the morning, right for those inner thighs. It feels so good after biking. Good. I'm going to take 1 more. Up next, we've got those T-spine rotations. Pressing away from the floor, whatever leg is out, those fingertips come behind the ears. Open up and then close. Ooh, a nice back crack on that one. Good. Open, close. We're going to take 2 more. Finish it out. Awesome job, guys. That felt great. Now you can do this as a morning mobility, nighttime, after a bike ride, before or after a workout. There really is no wrong time to do mobility, but think about moving out to the side, rotating, getting the hips, getting the inner thighs and the spine, and getting out of that seated and walking plane. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Any comments, questions, please feel free to drop them below.